Hi, Senator Scott Jensen, family physician. I represent Carver County. Today I come to you with a heavy heart. My second patient I saw this morning shared with me that a friend and patient of mine in the past who had relocated had committed suicide within the last few weeks. She was in utter despair. Our country is in the throes of fear and panic like we've really never seen before. She took her life. I called her husband. I was overwhelmed with sadness. But a few weeks ago, I was dealing with a different suicide, a younger person. And a few weeks before that, there were 3 within a short period of time. Friends, the social isolation that's going on right now is far more devastating than we realize. I know we're not getting daily counts, but boy, this is really fracturing us. The desperate anxiety and depression that's being born of this disease is remarkable. And I feel that I need to speak up. In 5 days, we will have ended our session. We will go sine die, and I'm not running for re-election. And I promise to you, if all what I've said is just hogwash, and I'm just spot on wrong on everything, don't worry about it. I'm 65 years old. You won't hear from me again. You can just sign me off. I'll go into the horizon. But I don't think that's where we're at. I want to read you something. 17 years ago this month, Dr. Mike Osterholm said this: "We have not begun to see the worst of the SARS epidemic." He was testifying to a U.S. Senator named Norm Coleman. At the same time frame, we heard from a fellow named Dr. Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. "It would be distinctly unusual for a respiratory disease that is spread this way to all of a sudden just disappear." We heard more. "The evolution and transmission of the next disease is not a question of, it is simply a matter of when." That SARS epidemic, within the next few months, fizzled. Number of deaths in the world, less than 1,000. Number of cases, somewhere around 10,000. SARS was a coronavirus. I don't share this information to pick on anyone. I share this information with you to remind you how fluid things are and how much we don't know. Governor Walz shared today that he has a new scenario, a new projection, a new model, and this one is calling for 29,000 deaths. By some folks' calculation, this would indicate that he has already saved 41,000 lives, because originally there had been a projection of 70,000 deaths. Please, friends, let's not fall for this political ploy. This is what we do. We run victory laps. We create victories so that we can run victory laps. When I heard that we were projected to have 70,000 deaths a few weeks ago, I didn't buy it then. And when I hear that we're going to have 29,000 deaths, I think, all right, I've got to kick that one around. I've got to put that into my foundation of understanding. But when I hear that someone might think that we've already saved 41,000 lives, that just ticks me off. When I ran 5 years ago for this seat, I said I wasn't doing it to rub elbows with muckety-mucks. I wasn't doing it to go along and get along. I was going to try to be about 3 things. I was going to try to report the facts. I was going to try to be transparent, and I was going to be someone who could maybe connect the dots. I'm a family doc in the trenches. I've been teaching med students and residents for 30 years, and I see patients every day in the trenches. I make house calls. I take care of suicides. Some 35 years ago, my brother committed suicide in this time frame as well. It was in the spring of the year, and he was in despair. And he jumped from a tall building. I know a lot of you folks out there are hurting. I think we all can concede the point that we're trying to make good decisions. But going forward, the most important thing Minnesotans can do is to try to not lock into one given opinion. Stay open, stay engaged, try to understand why the other person doesn't see it the way you do. And then maybe try to convince them of your perspective if you choose. We're in a dark spot, and I think the news coming forward, you can take it and say this, or you can take it and say this. But I'll tell you, this place is so political, and so is the World Health Organization, and so is CDC, and so are a lot of the people that are leading us on a federal and national level. This is a political body. And when you see us running victory laps and claiming credit, remember this. The machinery of government will roll along, and if in so doing, it tramples on your personal civil liberties, it's not going to stop. You have an obligation to protect the Constitution of the United States of America. You have an obligation to remember that in the preamble, when it said to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, posterity was talking about paying it forward. Right now, we are doing an incredible amount to simply combat the virus so that politicians can feel like they're on solid ground when they run for election again. There's a lot of groupthink going on. There really is. But there are deaths and diseases coming from desperation, and you won't see them. But I assure you, I'm seeing them every week. I am just sad that this is where we're at. We can open up the economy, and we can turn the Minnesota and the American spirit loose. And we can say, yes, this is a calculated risk, and yes, there will be some deaths. But if you put it in the context of the other things that happen, that we have almost 10,000 deaths every day in this country, that every year Minnesota will have 500,000 people get the flu, and we'll have 300 to 400 people die every year of the flu, and you will never even see it. We cannot bank on a vaccine. People in Governor Walz's team have said that it's going to take 80% of Minnesotans to get this disease to get past it. Okay, well, if you're right, then what are we doing trying to seemingly suppress the number of people getting ill almost as low as we can right now? We know that herd immunity is going to be a part of this. Our own immune system is probably going to ultimately win the day. The vaccine may help, it may not. The vaccine may be a bust. That's what happened in 1976 when there was so much Guillain-Barré associated with the flu vaccine that they had to pull it from the market, and that program never got restarted. Folks, we are not going to defeat this virus by contact tracing and stay-at-home orders. Let's protect the vulnerable. Let's help one another out. Let's do the common sense stuff. Some of the greatest successes we've had in the last 3 months are because of you. You're not going out if you've got a fever and you're coughing. You're covering your mouth. You're not touching your face, your nose, your mouth, your eyes. You're socially distancing. But enough's enough. Let's reawaken the spirit of Minnesota. Let's move forward. Come on, Governor Walz. Enough of the secret modeling. It's time. Thanks.